and he's qualified to manage the world stage. I think after that disastrous debate, he did a news conference. Remind me, Lemire, was it the NATO summit?
Yeah, a couple weeks later.
NATO
summit was
at
Washington.
8 at night. And yep, he got names wrong. Yep, he had to correct himself a few times, but his knowledge of world affairs was in depth.
Oh, I love this. I love the mainstream media, and I love MSNBC. It's the gift. They are the gift that keeps on giving. Apparently, they've reached levels of copium previously thought impossible. Here we see Mika Brzezinski claiming that she thinks, or claiming that Joe Biden could well have won the election if he had not stood down. Oh, sorry, I can't help but laugh. And, you know, we're looking at this clip because it's a bit of a laugh. The Young Turks are looking at it, and they are roasting MSNBC. So let's get into it and see what Ana Kasparian and Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks have to say about Mika Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough and and their ludicrous claim that Joe Biden could have won if he had only stayed in the race.
Everyone knows how I feel. I made it very clear after the debate that I thought he should continue. But that was not what most people wanted. So, but Joe Biden is the kind of person who pulls himself up from rock bottom, and I think he could have stumbled into it. I really do.
That was a video clip from Case Study QB, who watches cable news and clips out the relevant moments so you don't have to watch it. So thank you for that. But last week, Mika Brzezinski admitted that she thinks that Joe Biden could have stumbled his way into a second term had he remained in the 2024 presidential race. Now, you heard a small portion of why she thinks that. Maybe she makes a better point with fuller context involved. So let's take a look.
People responded very badly when he beat Trump during that campaign to Trump bullying him or going after his remaining son. People stood up for Joe Biden because they knew who he was. They know who he is. And I think an aging Joe Biden is very self-aware about that, and so is his team around him. And he's still 10 times more qualified than what we've got. And he's qualified to manage the world stage. I think after that disastrous debate, he did a news conference. Remind me, Lemire, was it the NATO summit?
Yeah, a couple weeks later.
NATO
summit was
at
Washington.
8 at night. And yep, he got names wrong. Yep, he had to correct himself a few times, but his knowledge of world affairs was in depth.
Wow, he had a summit at 8 at night. Ooh, so late.
And clear. People chose to, filters instead of reality, which was his good president who has historic presidency, who was able to beat Donald Trump. End of story.
Based on Joe Scarborough's facial expression as Mika Brzezinski is talking, I am about as convinced as he is in the points that she's making. I don't know, maybe I'm totally misreading his face, but he seems like he's not buying it at all.
Yeah.
I certainly am not buying it at all. Biden's internal polling, his campaign's internal polling showed him losing 400 electoral college votes.
Well, look, his face is probably grimacing because he's like, no, Mika, we're now kissing Trump's ass. Remember, we shifted. So we'll get to Joe in a second. But there's so many great things in that little clip. He could have stumbled into it, she said. Wow, that really is compelling. That maybe your preferred candidate, who is in obvious mental decline, could have accidentally stumbled into the presidency again. What a compelling case. Well, I mean, he did so great at that NATO summit press conference. I mean, he forgot a bunch of names and a lot of other things that had to be corrected later. But no one understands, but he had such a great command of foreign policy. Isn't that table stakes if you're running for president? I mean, I know it isn't lately. Trump barely knows foreign policy, and Biden's foreign policy was, Israel, what should I write in the blank check I'm about to send you for slaughtering Palestinians? Oh, by the way, that'll make me deeply, deeply unpopular, as a poll that we just shared with you guys shows. Only 20% of Americans liked his policy towards Israel. and among the young, it was under 10%. So, wow, what commando foreign policy. Okay, so it just, every part of this is comical, but the most hilarious part was when she said that people chose filters instead of reality. You're the filter, Mika. You're the filter who is detached from reality. His own advisor said 0% chance of winning, 0%. But that's reality. But Mika's filter is, oh, so if you add another 1 and another 0, that gets to 100%. So Biden would have won. Biden would have won. No, you're the ludicrous filter.
Yeah, look, Biden suffering from mental decline as he was in the top political post in the country, the most powerful position, certainly in the United States, but most powerful position worldwide. Let's keep it real. She was okay, right? Like her audience is there. It's not impacting her cushy life negatively in any way, shape, or form. Inflation, what inflation? Inflation is just totally unbothered by that. In fact, I remember after the presidential election, she and Joe Scarborough did a segment where Joe Scarborough was shocked at the price of butter. He's like, oh my God, $8? $8 for a stick of butter? Yeah, Joe, where have you been, homeboy? And it's because they're unbothered, they're untouched by the disastrous policy decisions and some of the economic issues that riddled Biden's term. And so while on one hand, I'm making a point about Joe Scarborough appearing to be confused by Mika's ridiculous points, in the next clip that we're about to watch, you'll see that Joe Scarborough seems to be befuddled about other things as well that he should not be befuddled by. Let's take a look.
I want to go to the debate, the night of the debate. Anybody that says to you they saw that coming is lying.
Okay, here's what I saw coming. Here's what I saw coming.
Did not see that coming.
In the 20 debate, Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders were waving their hands constantly, waving their hands at the camera. Let me talk. Let me interview. Let me do this. And all the time, Biden was sat there like a cigar store Indian or something. Why was he standing there doing nothing? He never participated in those debates. Maybe there's something about him and doesn't want to debate. I don't know what it is. And I don't know if we even the three of us could figure this out about Joe Biden and his decision about not wanting to debate. But he didn't debate in June.
Well, this is a question for historians, and I would love to. You know, everybody thinks there's this grand conspiracy. It was this grand conspiracy to hide him. You know, I did not see that.
What exactly is a cigar store Indian that Chris Matthews just made a reference to? What was that?
Yeah, so he makes such antiquated references. In the old days, they would have this. Anyway, I don't even want to explain it. Let's get to the
Okay, yeah, don't. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's so funny that he kind of, there's the two statements that he made kind of explain what's wrong here. So first he says, if anyone told you that they saw Biden doing poorly in the debate and being in mental decline before the debate, they're lying. Now that's hilarious, right? Because half the country saw that Joe Biden was in mental decline and they thought he was going to do terrible in the debate, and they were right. Now most of that was right wingers, and you can say they're biased, but it wasn't all right wingers. We thought he was going to do terrible in the debate. We thought he was in mental decline, and we said that about a year before the debate.
All right, enough of this. So it's just a laugh. I'm just doing this for a laugh because watching MSNBC holding on to this is just too funny. And of course, the Young Turks, I mean, to their credit, they've been criticizing the mainstream media for a long time, you know, on both sides. and they wouldn't have to criticize the mainstream media if the mainstream media actually did their job. If they weren't just a mouthpiece, you know, propaganda arm of the Democratic Party, then they wouldn't, you know, then if MSNBC or CNN actually did their job and weren't just propaganda outlets, well, then we could actually have some sort of rational debate in the United States. But even the Young Turks, the progressives, and now the self-styled populists at the Young Turks, Jen and Ana, They can see through this nonsense, of course. Everybody else can see, well, not everybody, but a lot of other people can see through this nonsense and are seeing through the nonsense that they peddle. Same goes on the other side, too. You know, I'm not claiming that Fox News is the place to get all your truth. But the levels of cope are just insane. I mean, it's amusing to watch, but also kind of sad, to be honest. But enough of that. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.